Some fight for glory. Some fight for revenge. We fight for neither. We fight because it's who we are, saints and sinners. Every team has a leader. This leader been the backbone of his team for over 20 years. Always adapting, always leading, always ready to step in. The ultimate team player, Wolverine.
All right, welcome to yet another player podcast episode. Today, big guest, long time requested. Everybody wants to get to interview Wolverine. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's Wolverine. Let's have you introduce yourself.
All right, well, my name's Sean. I'm probably most well known for playing in the TDM team, Saints and Sinners. I've been playing UT for like 25 years now, something like that, since 2000, I think it was. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
All right. Yeah, I think the audience of people watching this show or listening to this podcast is probably in the exact same boat. We've all been doing it for about 20 to 25 years. And at this point, I think we're all just kind of going, who is that guy? All right. Who's the person who's actually like killing me on deck 16 over and over and over again? Yeah. So I will start this thing the same way I start every single one of these. What are your first memories of Unreal Tournament?
Well, I got into the game when one of my friends at college, so we were sort of 16, 17 at the time, got the game for Christmas, and he just gave the CD round the whole class, basically. So one disc, yeah.
I mean, everybody perfectly legally purchased the game.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, since then, I've probably bought it on 5 different platforms kind of things. Like, they've got their money out of me. So yeah, that's how I started, and that's where like my first team, Saints and Sinners, did come from, because it originally started that SAS stood for Sean and Sam, a little bit of history there. And then as we progressed, and he couldn't really keep up with us either, so he sort of left. We needed a proper name for the team, and that's where Saints and Sinners came from. But
gotcha.
Yeah, that's my early remembering of UT anyway. Just sort of playing when you say free-for-all and stuff.
When you say he couldn't keep up, do you mean skill-wise or like just time dedication?
Yeah, it was more skill-wise, to be honest. Okay. We almost outgrew him, the rest of us. So,
gotcha.
And like as we got better and better and better as well, sort of that happened with more than just him over the time.
For sure. Were you playing a lot locally? That seems to be a theme, because we were all starting this game 20, 25 years ago. There wasn't a huge amount of internet infrastructure to support this kind of stuff just yet. A lot of us were on dial-up and things like that. Walk me through some of that. What were your early days of actually like playing the game? Local community, you said you were playing with some friends in college. Paint a picture for me.
Yeah, so like we'd go around one of our friends' houses and quite often take all our PCs there, so we were playing on a little LAN. But for me, mostly, I remember just playing online with like my 56k modem and 350 ping. So pretty much just using shock and rockets. I mean, some people might say that that's not changed too much.
Nothing's really changed.
But I sort of LAN-wise, I remember going to a local LAN cafe. But they were more into Quake 3 at the time, so I wanted to play UT. They wanted to play Quake, so I didn't really stick around too long there. But yeah, that's sort of where my early memories are with playing UT.
For sure. Did you try Quake at the time?
Yeah, I played Quake 3 a little bit with them, but it just didn't hit with me the same way UT did. I think it's probably one of those things that whichever one you play first is the one you stick with. That's how I feel.
Yeah, maybe. I was actually, and I don't know if the episode's out yet. I don't know that it is, but it will be out by the time I think that this one is out. So I actually talked to Carmack recently, and it was a great interview. Really, really passionate guy. I mean, huge figure. And he mentioned something which I think resonated with me, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it, which is that to watch Quake 3 is maybe a little bit more appealing to watch but to play, UT feels better to play. Do you feel like that resonates with you?
I mean, I've never really been into watching games much anyway. So like even demos, I've never been big on them. But watching the games, I mean, yeah, I couldn't really say, to be honest. I think just because UT is where my passion is, that's what I'd rather watch. So
sure. Do you watch UT though? Have you gone back? Are you a person who studies demos? Are you a person who watches other people's gameplay? You just get in there and just raw dog practice as much as you can.
I'd rather play.
Sure.
Than watch it. It's the same like with all the youngsters watching Twitch and things. I'm just like, I'd rather play the game than just watch someone else doing it.
I get it. For me, I'll say this. I found it helpful to start recording all of my demos and all of my games. And then once every couple of weeks, once I've forgotten the game that I've played, I'll go back and watch some of them just to see the mistakes that I'm making. Because if I try to watch it the next day or even 2 or 3 days later, it's too fresh in my memory still. And I can't separate myself from the decisions that I was making. So I have to kind of give it some time to forget. And then I look at it as like a brand new player. And I'm like, why did I make that choice? That looks so obvious. Why would I do that? It's been helpful for me. That's all I'm saying. So not that you need advice from me on how to get better at the game, but
no, I mean, I think it drives Natch a bit nuts that like my teammate, you probably know him, and that I don't sort of look a little bit more into things like that. I'm not interested in doing aim train. I'm not interested in watching other people's demos for anything like
so
that.
What you're saying is you are all gas, no brakes, 1 foot forward. Let's go. I don't need to look back.
Yeah, exactly. I think I can't really explain it. I'm just more interested in playing than
for sure. Hey, no, I get it.
Which is kind of why I don't understand why UT and games like that aren't more popular now. When I play Fortnite, I'm in a lobby, then I'm flying down, then I'm waiting another 5 minutes, then I wait 5 minutes to see someone. Now I'm crawling because I'm dead, and it's just like I'd rather be playing this game.
You know what's interesting about that is I think that there is actually so let me lay out my thesis here, and I'll get your thoughts. There's 2 different ways this goes down. For a long time now, we've all said first-person shooters, arena-style first-person shooters, they're kind of dead. They had their moment. They're not really coming back. And part of that is the skill requirement is such a steep climb that you don't want to get in there, die, and feel like you can't do anything against these top players. And it's just like you get your ass beat over and over and over and over again. And you have to be okay with that in order to move on. But the battle royale style games that have dominated, and the hybrid versions of like Counter-Strike, Valorant, things like this, they have gotten faster and faster and faster and faster, to the point where I'm actually curious if the demand for these games getting so much faster will lead back into arena style shooters where it's instant action, die, respawn, go again kind of mentality. As I think that the entire shooter genre is moving toward faster and faster gameplay, I feel like it's going to loop back on itself, because the fastest gameplay that you can get is an arena style shooter. What do you think about that?
I hope so. But I mean, if I went into Counter-Strike, for instance, I would be dead so quickly. And then if I played for an hour, I'd be lucky that I'm actually in the game for maybe 5 minutes. I don't know.
Right, sure.
I don't get how that's sorry. I don't get how that's fun.
Right.
For anyone, I'd rather, like you just said, if it's getting faster and faster, and I'm actually playing the game for that full hour. Because if I play a UT, I know I can play for a whole hour. Right. It doesn't matter how good I am, how bad I am. Yeah. That whole time is just game time. I would much prefer that, and I don't quite understand why so many people are happy to play round-based games and be watching for half of it.
Yeah. Well, who knows, man? Who knows?
But yeah, let's hope it does go back to what you just said.
Yeah, it would be nice. So let's start toward the beginning. We've talked about what your earliest memories are. Let's focus on some of your more competitive elements. Now, you have been arguably one of the top performing, if not the top performing player throughout UT's history. Now, there definitely have been other players who have had moments here and there, but for consistency over the entire length of time of the game, it's you and maybe a handful of others. First of all, how do you feel about that? Is it something that you think about, or is it something that's just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just playing the game?
Yeah, I think mostly it is just I'm playing the game, and I always enjoy when the tournaments are coming as well. That's when you sort of feel like, yeah, I want to put in the hours, I want to do the grind and things. And in some ways, I feel like UT's ruined a lot of other games for me because it is so hard to go back to something else. I've recently started playing a bit of single player games again, just to sort of do that. Because when I think back to before UT, I miss that kind of thing where I was playing lots of different games. But as soon as UT comes along, that's it. It's all about UT. But do I see? I know like my team does well. I know I do well. But whether or not I see myself as one of the top players, I'm not so sure. Like, I think my teammates Natch took UT to a whole new level. I don't think anyone's touched his level in this game. I think back to when I was a new player, and there's players like Fragmaster, Gits, and things like that. And it was fantastic to actually get to play with Frag M in a team in UT4. Yeah. That was amazing, because it sort of said to me, okay, I have reached this level. I am at that kind of performance. But I think for me it's been hard to give it up, to be honest. I don't think I could.
I get it. We're all addicted at this point. I think that the opportunity to reflect at this point in your, I'll call it a career, even though, arguably we're all just killing time with this hobby that we love so much, and sometimes we make money out of it. But within this lifespan that you've had in this game, have there been main rivalries that you look back on, and whether or not they bring you frustration or joy or whatever, what are some of the lasting memories that you're going to have when you're, pushing 70 and people are like, yes, we know that you played a video game one time, old man? Like, what are those memories going to come flooding back to you in those days?
Certainly getting to some of the Euro Cup finals in clan-based days, when we used to play, I think the first one we won was against Extreme, who went on to become Fnatic. So that was a really nice one to win, because it was almost like a passing of the baton. Like, it wasn't like they just left for UT2K4, so we inherited being the best. Right. We actually got to beat them before they went, so that was really nice. Then in UT3, there was quite a few rivalries. I remember Four Kings, who I think were mostly whiners in the clan whiners, obviously, in UT99. I think there was quite a few there, so that built up a little bit. In UT4, it was mostly the American teams, to be honest, All Stars. So they were a big rival in that. So there's been some really nice times. Most of them we have won. I think UT4 is the one where there's a little bit of frustration that we didn't manage to actually to win against All Stars.
Sure.
But yeah.
That's great. When you look at the games that you have played within the UT series, have there been game modes other than TDM that have appealed to you?
The only other one that I've really put a lot of time into would be ICTF.
Okay.
Duel has just never really done it for me. I have to just be playing well to play Duel, because I can't, the whole sort of chasing someone, grinding them down, it just frustrates me and bores me. I think mostly I end up just being a bit of a punching bag for Snatch when he needs a warm up for some tournaments.
I think I have the exact same experience here in the North American scene. I feel like I will happily duel anyone, and I'm a decent player, but my duel rank is like 250, maybe 300. I'm terrible at duels. I'm too impatient, and I just rush in, and
I'm definitely just relying on my TDM skills at that in duel. CTF I tried in UT99 for the first time, I think, ever, a couple of weeks ago, but it's still not really for me.
Oh, you say that now. There might be a dawning of a whole new era. It's been 25 years of TDM, and now you've finally discovered CTF. So
I think the only other time I've ever played that was in the single player mode. But I think the only other one is ICTF, really. Blitz in UT4 though was good, and I think that was something that Epic were on the right track with, I think. With that one.
I think I know that it exists in some form in UT99, but I know it got popularized in the later versions of the game more so. But I know in UT4 one of the big modes still is the what do they call it? Team last man standing, or I think in 99,
elimination.
Yeah. In 99 I think it's called TAM. I think it's the exact same game form, but I don't know. Right. I've never really played it too much. Have you ever? I'm just curious, because basically what I'm getting at here is that I'm always curious as to how well skills transfer into different game modes, right? You've got a very long history of winning, especially 2v2s as your partner and ride or die brother for life, it seems, have done so well. But how well do you feel that those skills transfer into other areas? Do you find it is an entirely different game, or is it like, well, it feels close enough, I just need to learn the objective?
Yeah, I think if you can frag, that's gonna help in any mode that you play. So, for instance, where I was playing CTF, granted it was only for a couple of weeks, I felt like if I was playing mid, I could do something there, like just stand around killing things. But the actual communication of like where the areas are, thinking about it during the learning process, I found quite hard.
Yeah.
And Translocator was just tough for me.
Yeah. That seems to be a recurring theme in the TDM world. Is we're all like, wait, I can just move.
Yeah, I was finding that tough. But ICTF, I've got quite a strong shock rifle anyway, so I felt that was okay. Obviously, you come up against the real Insta players, and you think, okay, that's a different level to what I am in this game mode.
Yeah.
But I think, if you can frag in anything, then you can pretty much move across to the other modes. It's just about, as you say, learning the objectives and some of the experience that comes with it.
I do want to talk about, given your 2v2 experiences, one of the more recent 2v2 tournaments that you guys host over in the Europe scene had some entrants, I believe, from some communities outside of Europe. And what I'm getting at is, what were your surprises and or upsets, namely in like someone like Chrome or KHR and Ilde or Snake's performance? I'm curious to get your opinion on some of these other communities and how their top players came in and performed.
Yeah, it was great to play against some different players as well, just different ways, like styles maybe. Was it Desnaska?
Desnake's. Yeah.
I can never pronounce that one.
Snacky. I'll call him. It's a dumb name, buddy. I love you. It's a dumb name.
Yeah, he was like a great guy, like a lot of talking, a lot of communication and things in the channel. So it was nice getting to know him a little bit. The two brothers, aren't they? Is that right?
Yeah, Venezuela.
Where were they from? Was
Venezuela.
Okay, so that was very similar actually to what we found in UT4 when we played against players from South America, where it's weird. It's like ping compensation is doing something, because if you get two players, I mean, I'm trying not to sound like a bit of an arsehole here, but if you've got two players with 20 ping, I don't believe either of them are going to get 80% sniper accuracy, for instance.
Sure.
But it seems like when you bring in these guys from South America, all of a sudden they are hitting 80%. And it's like this, it doesn't feel like everything's as it should be. I'm not saying they're cheating or anything like that. It just feels like it was the same in UT4, that if you had a high ping, for some reason, shot, primary and sniper were exceptionally accurate. But I don't know.
I see.
maybe they are just way better than what we were expecting.
He's calling for an investigation. I'm joking.
As I say, it's great that they can play with us. So
it is great. And I think that generally the consensus that I have heard seems to be, and I feel this way, that this new version of ping compensation that we're using feels the best compared to all of the other attempts that we have had thus far. You feel the same?
Yeah, it feels great.
Yeah, I think that the nice part about that is it makes the uncomfortable range of ping, let's say 90 to 150, that range always felt the most drastically different, right? You can lead your shots a little bit anywhere from, 40 up to 80, and it still feels pretty similar to normal ping. But beyond that, it starts to really drag on you. I think that this new system, hey, I'm a humble idiot, and I look at it and I go, seems like it's working better, feels much better. That's great. Do you think that there is an opportunity for more cross-continent competition? Because it seemed like we were on that path at first, but now it feels like it's slowing down a little bit. Maybe that's just because there aren't any tournaments happening. But do you think that it is possible, or are the time zones just too big of a difference?
The time zones are definitely a difference. Like, I don't think I could ever play in a North American tournament without some sort of leeway. Like, okay, the games are going to be played on a Saturday or something like that.
Right.
Where, again, going back to UT4, we had a tournament called UTPL, And that was fantastic because every game had its own time slot and it was streamed the whole way through. I don't know if you know the guy Connex from
off the top of my head, no.
He was streaming it or casting everything, and it was fantastic, really, the way it was set up. But again, we did have to think about the guys, particularly from the west coast of America, like when the top games were going to be played, and then also from our point of view, like I can't be playing at 2 a.m. kind of thing. So I think that's the biggest obstacle is the time zones.
Yeah, I do. I have always personally liked a weekend tournament where, hey, we can play in advance. It's going to be this date a month from now. Get your practice games in whenever you want, but the tournament itself is on this one weekend. It will last these 2 days. Be ready for it. And I think that kind of thing is, one, exciting because it feels immediate. It feels like, okay, we're getting fast results. We see who won this one, on to the next thing, you know? And additionally, I like that it is scheduled entirely within one day. It might mean that you have people who can't make it. Unfortunate, you know, but for when it does happen, man, it is fun to play in and fun to watch. I do want to ask, you've brought up UT4 a good handful of times now, and I know that you've got some experience playing it. Talk to me a little bit about your takeaways from UT4, because I feel like the UT99 community took a look at UT 2K3, 2K4, and kind of went, I don't know, feels a little bit different. And then UT3 came out and a lot of them went, yeah, I really don't know. That feels very different. I don't know. And I think that a lot of people didn't give UT4 the fair chance, maybe because they felt, I don't know, jilted or whatever going into it. It was also a little bit too buggy and a little bit too broken when it first came out. And I know that it's gotten a lot of love and attention from the community since then. Where do you think it stands today? And are there lessons that can be learned from that community and that game that can be applied to UT99?
I think you're absolutely right, first of all, that too many people maybe didn't give it a chance, because I found, like, I wasn't into 2K3 or 2K4. They definitely did feel different. But I felt like the transition from UT99 to UT3 to UT4 was quite an easy one for a UT99 player. Thinking about the actual game itself, UT4, I think Epic were on the right track with Blitz. I think they could have made something happen there. And when you look at the players that are still playing that game, that mode, it's new players. So it's not players that were necessarily 20 years veterans kind of thing. It was players that have picked up UT4, and that's the mode they've gone to. Things that the UT99 community could take back. I'm not sure. I think really they're doing with pin compensation. I would probably say that is the big thing that you could take back, because now you are getting the cross-continent gameplay and things like that. And the UT99 players, particularly the TDM guys, I think are more open to it as well. That they're happy. Look, we need more players. This is the way we can do it. Yeah. And yeah, it's working.
I think my plea that I have made to the old Unreal guys who are making the patches would be, I don't know how feasible this is or not, but if we could get something like a built-in matchmaker, I think that would actually be huge for new players. Because right now, you've got at least 3 or 4 barriers to entry before you can even get into a game, right? You have to find an available download, which, by the way, anybody watching this who's maybe only watching this because they're seeing these old names pop up and they recognize it and they're having a great time, you can download the game still. You can get it. Go to Old Unreal's website. They have links to the full installers. It's all hosted through Internet Archive. It'll automatically download, patch itself to the latest versions. You can do it. The game is not dead. That said, I do wish that we had one more, ease, which would be automated matchmaking of some type. Because right now, also having to find a Discord with a community and connecting to, a group of people, that's another barrier, and it just makes it harder and harder. I recently, and I promise I have a question coming up here. I recently got invited into a small group of friends who are playing using a VPN network in Germany, and they weren't really aware that there is a more competitive, larger scene, and they just are friends who happen to find this old game and they like it and they wanted to play it, and I happened upon them and I said, wait, what are you guys doing here? And I came and I joined them, played a game with them or two. My question is this, basically, is when we as a global community look at trying to get people in, what do you think are the things that we are doing that are preventing people from getting in?
I think the biggest problem is that just the sheer age of the game and how many players have been playing since it started, that you've got a huge skill barrier there. I'm not sure if whatever we can do is ever going to grow the community that much now, because I think it might just be that it's just too old. I'm not aware of many games that have ever come back from sort of where we are now. And without Epic doing something, I find it hard to see how UT can grow much more than what we already are without just putting all the different time zones and things together with people. But I mean, thinking of Epic, I don't see why they can't make a UT, put it that way. Sure. I think at this point they're so big they could brute force a UT to be successful. I think you look at Valorant, and what's the game that's linked with that? Is it League of Legends? I think would Valorant have been as big without League of Legends? And I think you've almost got that thing with Fortnite now. That I imagine you say you can get a UT skin in Fortnite if you play 50 hours in the new UT. You're going to have loads of people playing it. I just think they can brute force it. Yeah,
I have a couple of thoughts here. One is that Deadlock is gaining in popularity. It is still very early days in terms of beta and what they're changing. They're making huge major changes to the game, but I've played it a good handful. It's great. It's great as it is. And there's a big crossover there from Dota and the other competitive games that Valve is making. And so it's got exactly what you're describing, right? If they want to put the time and effort into it, they can make a fantastic game. I think that there is an attitude, and this is just my opinion, that is prevalent at Epic of immediate results. If we aren't seeing something fast enough, it's not worth pursuing anymore. And I think that is hard to deal with. You know, it's hard as a community to kind of go, okay, well, we're still here, we're still invested, you know, but it's a frustration. I will say this though, that when you look at a game like chess, now I know there's a big leap in terms of popularity of where chess has been historically and where UT has been historically, and not that UT players don't think of themselves as playing chess when they're in a duel or a TDM match or something. That game has massive skill gaps, and yet it continues to be popular and goes through massive popularity spikes. It'll dominate the public consciousness for a while and then fade away into the background for a while and come back and forth. I do think it's possible, but I think that you're right to mention that no other video games that we have seen have done that too much in their history. And maybe that's just because the nature of gaming and the nature of gamers is more. Give me new, give me fresh. I want the shiny, you know, whatever. Maybe we're all very easily distracted kittens or something. But I do think that you make a good point there. All right, so I do want to talk about other games a little bit. Now, you've mentioned that you're playing first-person games a little bit, and you may have mentioned that before we started recording, but I do want to talk about that. What other games out there are interesting you? Did you ever catch the WoW bug, for example? Are you strictly arena shooters? Or, you know, talk to me a little bit about the other games that are intriguing to you.
Well, World of Warcraft, definitely not. I think I played it for about 3 weeks or so with one of my old teammates and just decided I'm pretty certain it was Carmack, actually, that coined the phrase World of Walking. And that is exactly what I thought. I'm just walking around the whole time. No, I'm not playing this anymore. But other games, arena shooters, just no, nothing else does it for me other than UT. I'll play some of the like campaign modes in Call of Duty and sometimes go online, maybe a bit of TDM if it's not too bad in that. Otherwise, I've started playing a few more single player games. Like I did, was it Horizon Zero Dawn? That was pretty good. And I've just got myself a Nintendo Switch 2. I've been playing a couple of games on there. That's been fun. So just trying to find a game that isn't UT, because I can't remember if it was before we started or not, and I said like UT has ruined a lot of other games for me, and I want to try and experience some more of those again.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like then you've got some time in your day that you can dedicate to gaming most often. I mean, maybe I don't want to speak to your life schedule, but talk to me about that. What is your work-life gaming balance like? I know you've got kids, right?
Yeah, I've got a little daughter. She's 2, so she takes up a lot of time. But I work part-time now at work. I'm a teacher. Okay. I've gone part-time, so that gives me a bit more freedom to do things as well. And yeah, in the evening, like my wife will look after the little one. She's got a horse of her own, so she gets a lot of time with that. So she can't really say too much when I want to play. Sure. But yeah, I try and squeeze it in because it is something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Keeps your brain active too. It keeps you thinking and it keeps you competitive and sharp.
Yeah. And as long as I'm not playing too much, I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, sure. I did want to ask though, are there, in this, reflective time, are you looking back and are you thinking about any missed opportunities, any games you're like, man, I really wanted to play that person? Or are there any players out there that you haven't played yet that you would love to get a shot at, like challenging?
I mean, I've probably played against most of the top players, certainly from the last 20 odd years, but I think I'd have to go before I sort of broke through, I suppose, when like MCW and OCR Extreme were the real top clans, and I never really got to play all of those guys. And I'd love to be able to pit myself now against them back then and see what it'd be like.
Oh, you've stumbled onto a pit of conversation here, because I feel like this question gets brought up, and I'm very clear on my stance. I think players now would wipe the floor with players then. I'm not saying that the players then were bad by any measure. We learned everything that we learned from them, right? We're standing on the shoulders of giants. However, we continued to play for 20 years. We have all of the minutiae. Additionally, the game itself has changed, right? Yes, the patches have made things different. A big conversation within the North American scene right now is OpenAL audio is giving up too much information. You can hear things from way further away.
Yeah, I need to install that.
It is really unfortunate because it fundamentally changes the game, right? It fundamentally breaks duels because you can hear so much more information. You kind of have to play with it now. And that's not that great of a feeling, because it means like, oh, it feels like I'm cheating, but at the same time, it just means that the game has changed and no one asked for it to change in that way. You know what I mean? So there are some downsides to patching the game and adding these new features. But back to the point that I'm getting at in terms of players today versus players then, it's just different. It's just a different game, right? Like a good reason why people were using miniguns so heavily or rockets and these things is because they had bad internet connections. They had poor quality PCs that couldn't get high frame rates. Now we all have gigabit internet and we all have frame rates in the hundreds if not thousands. All of that is a non-issue. And so because of, and we have fast weapon switch, these things, we're playing the game so much faster than it was then. I don't know that players of that time would keep up in the same way. I think they could adapt, and I think that after a learning curve period, we would have a much more fair competition. But take someone now, the average player now versus the average player then, hands down, average player now is going to do way better. Yeah,
I think you're right. If you pit them against the average player now compared to then, they would definitely win.
Yeah,
but if they keep playing like we did, I think they keep up with us.
Yeah,
I think about Frag M, who hadn't played UT in a long, long time, and he was very, very good in UT4 with us. He wasn't quite at a level, I wouldn't say, but he wasn't much behind at all. I also sort of think, like, I didn't play UT99 since UT4 was announced, so I didn't play it for a good 8 years or so. And I've come back and I can't say anyone is head and shoulders above me. So maybe UT4 kept me in shape for UT99, I don't know.
Right.
But I think if you're a top player, you can probably come back to it. Whether or not you can do it with a 20-year break is another thing.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I think if you kept playing, you'd be fine.
Yeah, I took a year and a half, 18, 19 months off not too long ago. And when I came back, everyone was like, oh, you kept playing. And I was like, I promise you I didn't. I uninstalled the game. I went on, did other things in my life for almost 2 years. But there is a muscle memory break-in process where you have to get your brain and your muscles and fingers used to doing it again. But once you do it, it feels like riding a bike and you just kind of get back on.
Because like you said, where the game's changed so much in that time, I was playing, the last time I was playing was when it was like that. So I've come back to a different game. And I don't really notice now, to be honest. I couldn't even tell you what was different back then.
Yeah.
It had been that long.
I'm curious, having played that other game for so long and coming back to this, are there people within that community that you who have not played UT99, who came at it as a brand new game in UT4, who you would love to bring in and say, hey, try this out. Go back to your roots and figure out where this game came from. Is that something that even gets discussed in the UT4 community that you've noticed at all?
Well, a couple of them did try UT99 in the Giraffe Cups. I think Dion did, and Flick Switch.
Yeah.
I think Nubic did as well.
We had a 2v2 over 3v3, and Killing and Last came over, and I know that they're both from...
the American guys. Yeah, Killing's great. Yeah. Dion, I would love to get into UT99. He's got a pretty big mouth, but he's exceptional in UT4, and it would be great to have him play UT99. I don't think too many people ever sort of think, we must try UT99 now,
sure.
but yeah, it'd be nice to bring something back. And there's a lot of great players in the American scene as well that would be good to see.
Yeah. I do think, and I'll get your thoughts on this, talking about the difference between the American scene and the European scene. Going back to some of the earlier UT99 competitive days, historically speaking, Europe has always been the stronger of the two scenes. All the top teams were in Europe. I think that North America had some really exceptional players, but they were a bit more one-off here and there rather than teams as a whole. What, when you think back on it, were the excitements around other players? I mean, I talked to in another interview. I don't think the interview is out yet, but it will be by the time this one is. I spoke to Evenflow recently.
Oh, okay.
When you think about players outside of your European scene, who sticks out? Who are your memories going, oh man, that guy was great. I wonder what happened to them, or I wish I could play with them again. Paint me a picture there.
Outside of the European scene?
Yeah.
I think the big one from back in the day was Destruct. He was always one that, there was a big sort of noise about. And that's probably one of the guys, going back to your earlier question, it would have been nice to have actually gone up against. Otherwise, there's, say in UT4, there's a lot of great American players, but I can't really think of anyone else, to be honest.
That's all right. I'm curious. That's just curious.
Yeah.
I will say, though, and I do appreciate your time. I've capitalized on your time for almost
fine.
40 minutes or now. What this is my last main question. Maybe it'll branch into something else, but what is your heartbreak? What's the time that you were like, man, I thought I had it and you didn't have it? There's got to be a story somewhere in your UT history where a match went awry, something fell through. Give me the low point of your UT99 career.
In UT99?
Or in UT4, whatever stands out.
Yeah, the UT4 ones, it's a shame because you're sort of giving them credit as well, but in UT4, the two matches against All-Stars, the ones, the first one, I feel like we were a bit naive. We didn't understand the ping quite as well as they did and how it was affecting the different ways of playing. They were obviously the only American team, I think, in the tournament at that point, so we weren't bothering to practice on American servers. But by the second tournament, we'd done a lot more preparation for it. And we actually won the league match. And then the way the rules were done, like the map picking for the playoff games was a bit odd. So we ended up, from my memory, at a bit of a disadvantage on map-wise. But we ended up, what was it? I think we were like 2-0 down and we brought it back to 2-0. I think we won the 2v2 and a duel. And then our next duel player, for some reason, just decided to play in a completely different way and ended up losing that. And then we lost the 4v4 by a single frag on our home map. And I think that's my biggest regret. I would love to just have one more bite of that cherry to see if we could do it. But whether or not we could put a team together even for UT4 anymore, I'm not sure. And like me and Snatch haven't played in over a year now as well. So it would take a bit of grinding.
Yeah. I do love that format, though, of a dual 2v2 team game.
Yeah.
I think it's a really great way to kind of build out.
It was great, yeah.
I have floated the idea. I don't know if anyone's taking me seriously on any of these ideas that I put out there. I would love to see a UT99 throughout the ages tournament where you get people who have to play a couple rounds in UT99, 2K4, UT3, and UT4 as like a overall best UT well-rounded player. I think that would be a really fun thing to watch. I mean, it would be really interesting because you've got these people who've fallen into these like silos where they just like master one game.
Yep.
But there are related, movement mechanics and these kind of guns and stuff like that in different games. It'd be really interesting to see how that translates, or weapons more specifically, I should say, because they're not just throwing a razor blade across the map. Anyway, I think that would be really fun to watch. Anyway, so that said, I do want to thank you again for your time, and I want to offer you the floor is yours. If there's anything that you want to talk about that you haven't been asked that you want to make sure you bring up, or any shout outs or credit that you want to give, floor is yours to blabber on as much as you want.
Just really all the admins and things that are keeping this game running, and the people that are still working on the game itself is just mind blowing that they're still putting their time in. All of my many teammates over the years to keep my team running basically for this long. DVP, you and the others for putting these podcasts together, because I think they've been great. They've been a lot of fun, very interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it really.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Wolverine. I really appreciate it. And thank you for joining us in our long and growing list of people who are willing to share their stories and their memories and their passion and excitement for this game that we all love so very much. That'll be it. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm sure another episode will be coming in the coming days. Thanks again.
Cheers.
Yeah.